If you're watching this by now, the federal government has shut down. And this goes beyond politics, and it is a SHTF moment for maybe you or some of your neighbors. And this does have to do with your prep, your everyday carry, and things you need to be prepared for. So, what does that mean? The government shut down, meaning that some services, whether they're essential or non essential, will cease to be moving forward at the moment. There'll be some things that continue to move forward, but certain things such as Social Security, veterans benefits, that type of stuff is normally mandatory. The post office, they're either mandatory or they have other payment mechanisms to keep them going. And this whole situation goes beyond politics. And I want you to really think about, how are you distributing, preparing, and protecting your prep? So there are some things that are possibly could come to an end, or some of your neighbors that you might want to think about helping out. The last government shutdown started in 2018. It bled into 2019. Longest government shutdown we ever had ended up being 35 days. And the people that are most affected by this are federal employees. They will either be furloughed, where they go home essentially not being paid, although in the past they always got back pay. They would be accepted, which means you have to continue working, but you won't get paid. Or you would be exempt, meaning you continue working during the government shutdown, but you get paid. Those type of jobs are normally 2-year money, but I don't want to drag you into the weeds. But the point is, your neighbors who oftentimes just go about their daily lives and never have a prep ready, never have 2 months of household bills, as well as stuff like the mortgage and rent set to the side, they may need a lending hand. It may be time that you think about stepping into your prep and helping folks out if it gets to that point. Now, for the month of October, SNAP benefits should still be coming. The EBTs should still be working, but that's only for October. WIC should be good as well, but WIC is for kiddos 5 years and younger and their parents. So that's not for everybody. But the point is that if this is similar to the last one, people may need help sooner than later. I mean, that includes people that may be exempt federal employees that still have to work, and they maybe can no longer pay daycare if the next paycheck they have coming up is their last one. So maybe you have to help out with that. Maybe you need to think about giving some of your food stores to some folks that would normally have a healthy grocery list or whatever, but they don't have a paycheck coming up. Those are things you got to think about. I don't think that is as cut as dry as, these Republicans and Democrats can never get their act together, because I mean, you're probably right about that. But bigger picture, I do believe that if this continues to go further, if people begin to get actually fired and let go from the government, then that could lead to desperation in the job market, and also people making very, very irrational choices when it comes to taking care of the people that they love. You may oftentimes hear the adage from women to say, I would hit that pole if I had to feed my family. And that's similar to what some men would have to do if they had to feed theirs, which is, if they got to get out there. And if I had to do some stuff like that, I would be out here cutting grass and washing trash cans of my neighbors if I ever had to get to that point. But the point being is, I feel more prepared than others. But if there are folks that live in my neighborhood, if they live near me, or if I'm connected to, which I am, that are federal employees, you have to think about that, or people who are directly dependent on certain services. Here's another thing. If you are traveling, expect possible delays. TSA are normally either exempted employees or accepted employees, and they have to continue working. But that doesn't mean everybody a part of the Department of Homeland Security, where TSA falls under, or Department of Transportation, which normally services the roads that get your ass to the airport, to get you around our highways in America, are all essential employees. All those connecting services, the security guards, the janitorial staff, the facility team maintenance crews, the people that make sure doors open and they're oiled and hinged right, those things can delay essential services as well. So if you find yourself needing to travel, as we come up for Columbus Day, we're coming up, the fall weather is great. It's a great time to vacation. leave a little bit earlier, maybe even plan not to fly. Maybe you need to think about turning it into a road trip. I also don't believe markets will be immediately affected. I took a look at government shutdowns going all the way back to Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. Only one time, that was the 2018 shutdown, where we lost about $3 billion off the GDP. We eventually regained that through the market. So I'm not too concerned about the market and the economy fluctuating because of this shutdown, but everything that kind of connects around that. National parks. You plan on going and practicing your prep in authorized national parks where you can light fires, live off the grid, use your power stations, test out your sleep situation. And the only place you can do that is a national park. Those may close as of right now. So you have to think about that, check and see what's local available to you. If you depend on anything from subsidizing your daycares all the way to any other benefits such as your small business loans or anything that you've been waiting on, those things could be delayed. Now, it is expected that the IRS is going to continue to work. That's a good thing for some, not for others. But for me personally, I think that this is the time not to get complacent, especially if you yourself are not a federal employee or you don't oftentimes rely on federal services, and good on you. But me personally, I rely on veterans benefits, right? Fortunately, the VA is normally exempting employees. It's normally 2-year money. The VA normally just rolls on and continues working. So if I need services, I'm normally taken care of. But there are people who are adjacent to me who are not so don't get that same type of benefit. Folks waiting for Pell Grants for colleges, or do you have to pay back your student loans? Yeah, you still need to pay those back. But if you find yourself near a neighbor who's beginning to run low on funds because this thing is dragging on longer than expected, be prepared to let them borrow power stations if they need it, or crack open your food stores. It might be beneficial. Comment down below, what do you think about the situation and how it could affect you, your neighbors, your prep, and just overall the running of the country. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.